Alright, this is part 2 of our lesson reviewing arc length, sector area, and a few other closely related things. So let's pick up here with number 6 and 7. Alright, number 6, we're supposed to find the area of the circle. So the area is pi times the radius squared. The radius is 5, so that means that the area of the circle is pi times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, and so we put that in the front. So the area is 25 pi, and the units are meters, so since we're talking about area, that's going to be square meters, or meters squared. So that is the area right there. So let's go ahead and write that as a decimal as well. So 25 pi toggle it out, so that's 78.54. Got to round up. Square meters. Okay, that's how you do number 6. Alright, so for number 7, we are finding the area of sector CAB. So it's this shaded sector right here. So again, when you're finding a portion of a circle, whether it's sector area or arc length, that's when you need to be thinking part over whole equals part over whole. Okay, so on the right hand side, when we talk about part over whole, we're talking about degrees. So this part, 80 degrees, alright, same thing as the angle in there. So we're talking about 80 degrees is the part, and the whole is 360. Now, when we talk about part over whole on the left, we're talking about area. So the partial area is what we're looking for, so I'm just going to call that x. The whole area is the area of the entire circle. So that is pi r squared. So that is going to be pi times 6 squared. So that is 36 pi square miles. Alright, so the area of the entire circle is 36 pi. So that's why that is going to go here. Alright, part over whole. This is the area of the whole circle. I like to reduce this, so 80 over 360. Alright, 80 over 360. Whoops, I missed a number. Let's try that again. 80 over 360. So that's 2/9. So what we have then is x over 36 pi is equal to 2/9. So when you cross multiply, you're going to get 9x is equal to, and I'm doing 2 times 36 pi. Now 36 times 2 is 72. So that's going to be 72 pi. Okay, I'm multiplying this diagonal. So now it's time to divide both sides by 9 to get x by itself. Okay. 9 goes into 72 8 times, so this is going to be 8 pi. So that is the answer. That is the sector area is 8 pi square miles. But let's go ahead and write it as a decimal as well. Okay, so 8 pi as a decimal is 25.13. And never forget your units when they exist. Alright, so that is it. That's the answer for number 7. All right, be careful with number 8. This is something that comes up often. It's just one small trick. If you pay attention, it's easy to understand, but it's also very easy to overlook. We're looking for the length of arc ABC, all right? Arc ABC is the major arc going the long way around the circle, all right? It's the one that I'm highlighting in pink right now. So this is arc ABC. Now, they gave us the degrees for the minor arc, okay, the AC. So we're not going to use the 75 degrees. Oh no, that's the small. We want the big. So how am I going to find the major arc degrees? Clearly we're going to subtract from 360. So if I do 360, there's too many numbers on the screen. Let's clear that out. If I do 360 minus 75, okay, that's 285 degrees. Okay, so that, okay, 285 degrees. That's the number that we need to use, not the 75. Okay, so that's the key. I mean, the rest is pretty straightforward. Okay, so back to business. So once again, we're dealing with part of the circle. So we're going to be doing part over whole is equal to part over whole. Okay, so let's start with the degrees, which we just found. So instead of doing the 75 over 360, the trick or the key is to do 285 over 360. Okay, and we're supposed to be finding the length of this now pink arc. So we don't know what that is, but that is the partial length. All right, the length of the entire circle is also known as the circumference. So let's calculate that off to the side. Circumference formula is 2 pi radius. So in this case, that's 2 pi times 9. So that is 18 pi. Okay, so that goes right here. All right, part over whole, the circumference is the whole length of the circle. Let's see if this reduces. 285 over 360. Well, it's got to reduce at least a little bit. Okay, so 285 over 360. 19/24. Okay, time to cross multiply. So this is going along this diagonal. I get 24x. All right, 19 times 18. Notice how I left the pi out of it. Okay, that's a good habit to get into because I don't want a decimal right now. So I'm just doing 19 times 18, 342. Okay, so I have 342 pi. Okay, so if I want to do 18 pi times 19, I don't need to put the pi in the calculator. I can just do 18 times 19 and just put the pi there. All right, follow my lead. Do my good habits. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 24. Okay, let's reduce this. So 342 pi over 24. All right, so it's 57 pi over 4. So that is the answer, okay? That is the length of this pink arc. We're dealing with centimeters, and we're talking about length, so I'm just going to keep it as centimeters. But let's go ahead and also write this as a decimal. by toggling it. So 44.77. Okay, and that is it for number 8. Okay, we are going to find the area of this shaded sector. Again, be careful. You see this 255 degrees? That is not what we want. Okay, that's this white area out here. We need the degrees that go for the shaded arc. So we're going to subtract from 360 to find what we really want. So let's do 360 minus the 255. That's 105 degrees. Okay, so that's the real deal. So we want 105 degrees. That's the number that goes with the shaded sector here. So we are going to be doing part over whole equals part over whole. Okay, let me just do that schematic real quick. Part over whole is equal to part over whole. On the right hand side we're going to be doing degrees, but the key is do not use the 255. If you do that, you'll be finding the white area and not the shaded area. So we will use 105 over 360. Over here we're doing partial area over the total area. Now the partial area, that's what we're looking for. So I'm just going to call that x. Now the total area is the area of the whole circle. That we can use our little formula. So that's pi r squared is the area of the whole circle. So that's going to be, the radius is 3, so that's pi 3 squared, or in other words 9 pi. Okay, that's the area of the entire circle. So that's why I'm going to put 9 pi right here, because we're doing part over whole, and 9 pi is the area of the whole circle. So it's time to cross multiply and such. 105 over 360, I like to reduce it. 105 over 360. So that's 7/24. Okay, so we have x over 9 pi. So as I cross multiply, I'm going to have 24x, okay, along this diagonal. Now again, when I do this diagonal, I'm not going to multiply 7 times 9 pi with pi. I'm just going to do 7 times 9 and just keep the pi on the side. So 7 times 9 is 63. So this is just going to make 63 pi. We don't need a calculator for that part. So now, getting x by itself, we need to divide by 24. Alright, so this really is the answer. We just need to simplify. So 63 pi over 24. Why did I put 36? Let's try that again. I meant to put 63 pi over 24. So that's 21 pi over 8. And we're doing sector area, so this will be square feet, because we're talking about area. So that is the answer. Alright, that is the area of the sector. But let's go ahead and write this as a decimal as well. So that's 8.25. Square feet. Alright, and that wraps it up for number 9. Alright, and finally we have number 10. Alright, it's a little bit tricky, has a couple different tricks to it, but we're working backwards somewhat. I guess not really. We're given the arc length this time. So this 15 feet is the length of the arc. Let me just emphasize it. So we're given, well, kind of messed up there towards the end. You get the idea. The pink arc is the 15 feet. So what we're being asked to find is the circumference, okay, which would be the length of the whole circle. Now, before we get too far gone, this 200 is the wrong, it's the wrong angle. We need this one, all right, the one that goes with the arc length that we were given. So again, I'm sure you don't need a calculator for this, but we're doing 360 minus 200, so that's 160. So if this is 200, then this is, of course, 160 degrees. So the 200 is not the number we will use. We will use the 160 because it goes with the 15-foot arc length that we have. Now, anytime we're dealing with a portion of the circle, in your mind you should be thinking, well, what I know is part over whole equals part over whole. Since we're dealing with arc length and circumference, then over here on the left side, we're going to be dealing with length. Okay, over here on the right side, as usual, we'll be doing degrees. Okay, my spelling is, my handwriting is bad. Anyway, so let's do the degrees first because they're easy. Well, they're easy now that we switched from 200 to 160, so watch out for that. So 160 degrees over 360 degrees. Now, be really careful about how you think about this. We're doing length now. The partial length divided by the whole length. Which one of these are we given and which one are we looking for? See this 15 feet? That is the partial length. So that's going to go in the top because we're doing part over whole. Now the whole length is the circumference. That's what we're looking for, the circumference. So a lot of students, because they've seen it on other problems, they will automatically want to put x on top. But in this case, we're given the partial length, so we're going to fill that in. We're looking for the circumference. We're looking for the whole, so that goes on the bottom. All right, the rest is really simple. Let's reduce this fraction. Okay, 4/9. So I have 15 over c is equal to 4/9. So cross multiplying, this gives me 4c is equal to 135. Okay, and dividing both sides by 4. This is not going to go in evenly. 135 is already there, so I'm just going to do divided by 4, 33.75. Okay, and we are still talking about length, so that's going to be feet. And that is it. Alright, so not too tough once you avoid a couple of the tricks. But that's it for number 10, and that is it for this lesson. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you on the next video.